first nourishment in a while. Oh, mm, thank heavens. Uh, it's so hard to nourish myself when I get home. So many thoughts. A tune in my head. It's like, oh, what should I do? I don't know if there's like, I'm not doing something right when I get home. It's like, oh, I've got to get up like a certain number of calories inside of me. So I purposely put something down in front of me as if to say, hey, eat this. I know you're busy. Eat this now. You know? Drink this coffee. Calm down. Mm, 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 mm. People talk about marijuana and they say it gives you the munchies. But they don't tell you why. Because marijuana helps clean out your liver, your spleen, and your bile duct, and your heart even. If you go through a whole day like I do outside smoking, it cleans out your entire body, your fucking bowels, everything, from day to day in different ways to some extent, in a way that you can sense is sustaining all of the ill about which we could speak to the tune of encyclopedias of heaven and earth, and everyone would sit astounded at each other's encyclopedic creations out of pure experience and imminent torture. And, resolutions, of course, of spring and songs and melodies and people coming together, and not in the sense of the height of the Roman Empire, but rather the denouement. Dun, dun. So, cleans out your liver. Getting an appetite is the sign that it's actually been cleansed. It means you've done good work. Now, if you're sitting around a dark room, smoking weed all day, listening to heavy metal music, and you just like suddenly just get the urge for a pizza, half a dozen Mars bars, no, I'm not saying that that's the right thing. Well, anything that you do where you choose to eat like shit is not good. So either stop eating like shit, or you stop smoking weed, or you stop having a heart. What's it going to be? Because your heart's doing all that work, and then you're ruining it by eating shit. Gotta feed yourself. Now, nothing that says that because you get really hungry smoking weed, you should eat like shit. I would hike with this native friend of mine, and every now and then, he'd bring a meal for himself, and I think once for me, very nourishing, healthy meal. He definitely knew how to eat. So we were never really hungry. Lots of water. A lot of times I think the only thing we really brought with us was weed, to be honest with you. Kind of reckless. I must have had a water bottle. I don't know. Probably more likely a coffee. Mm. Anyway, those are my stories for today. I want to write a song, so it's got to proceed like as if I was in like a real relationship, and not just the eating, but like I got to be good to myself. I work hard every day, clean out my spleen, like my liver. Now, questions could be begged, like, well, okay, why do I have to do it every day? Like, because of all kinds of stuff. You don't want to know the answer to that. A lifetime of experience. That's why. So let's try to make something positive. Once I've finished eating and drinking and settling myself down a bit, I know how this works. You see, I'm really distracted. If I were a child, you'd say, "You're autistic. Go and make your song." It's like, no, just had a long day. That's why some people just don't need a schedule. Mm. Okay. Mm. Every sip is tasting better than the one before. I'm just, I'm relieved to be here. I thought of getting in front of this computer, to be honest with you, and I thought of it getting on this laptop as a very worthy goal for my evening. I just know the feeling. I know that I have something else to give. I know that I've had a long week. It's a nice way. It's good magic. It's a great way to just send out some peaceful smoke out of the very tumultuous landscape, as if the whole world, on some level, if your body is concerned, we're at war, rising and falling with all the psychic devices of man and yours and this and that. And then you can send out a smoke signal saying da na na na, and it's just like, hey, peace over here, you know. Okay, I found some peace. You know, here's a puff of peace. I should call this the puff of peace instead of a piece of puff. I'm gonna do that. I like that better than how can I say the puff of peace. I like that. You do that. Okay, good. It's its own. I already wrote that other song anyway. Oh God, I've got jam on my face. I thought I cleaned my mouth, but it's like, probably not. Okay, let this. I feel like I have a lot of access to my life right now. So I just writing is just such a great activity. It's my religion. You know, if I can, oh, you think I'm making a big ordeal of all of it, right? It's like, and then you think, what kind of song could you possibly write that's worth watching you do what you're doing? And I'm asking myself the same question. That's part of the ritual. What the hell am I doing? And why would anyone watch this? I don't think it's that. I actually don't upload most. If I ever do upload one of these, it's one of thousands which I would never upload. And you think, well, that's not very nice. Like, I could have done without this. Why didn't you just do what you normally do? Why did you change? Well, because probably I said something or did something or a song I am yet to write in my future, which is in a way your past. For it is, for you, it's already past the moment you hear about it. You're just hearing about the past. You know, it's all past for you, it's all future for me. So that puts us in very different positions with relationship to whatever is going to happen here. And I want you to take that into account, given whatever happens. But let's say a part of my brain already knows what this song sounds like. Is that possible? Have I already written this song in the future and I can hear? Hello there! I hear the song you're about to sing. Let me sing it to you, my future self singing it to me. Well, here's my past self singing it to me, so I'll play it for you. Hey, ooh, na, 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 ooh, na, na. Mm. Okay, here we go. I send a puff of peace into the air. And a world of war is drenched. Ooh, the waters of the bo, 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 of the land. Oh. I send a puff of peace into the air, and a world of war is drenched in waters of the lands we breathe on everywhere. Woo-hoo. Hey, hey, well, I send a puff of peace into the air, and a world of war is drenched in waters of the lands we breathe of everywhere. So you can see I'm enjoying that. So I think that future self had something really going on between the years. They had a wise way with words. You mean they were word wise? Wise where they were? I can't hear what you're saying. Say that a little louder. What are you, Jimmy Stewart? I might be. I'll send a puff of peace into the air, and a world of war is drenched the waters of the lands we breathe of everywhere. And now here's the problem with repeating the first three lines, and they're really good. Now you're like, huh, how am I gonna add to that? It's like, let's see. Flowers falling from my fingertips roll their beads of dewy mirth between her tender thighs. No, okay, so it's like, you add me to the tender thighs. You know why? They're always tender. It's an oxymoron. A woman's inner thighs are always tender. If they're not, something is seriously gone wrong and rigor mortis has set in. Probably for quite a while. What the fuck is wrong with you? You should probably call the police and turn yourself in if them thighs ain't tender no more. A little PSA for the public there. That's part of the reason for the title, Puff of Peace. So if you're gonna have the puff, you gotta put up with all my stuff. That's how it goes. I send a puff of peace. I'm, that's a little bit of joy, right? Joy's okay. He's like, oh, you're stoned, but I'm joy stoned. And I'm not bothering you. I'm not coming into your house and saying, when's your little twats getting home from school? I want to smoke another bowl and say hi to Jesus. It's like, excuse me, sir, we don't smoke in this house. This ain't smoke. This is the breath of the dragon's anus. You know what that is? I don't think I want to know. The dragon's anus. You need to know about the dragon's anus. I tell you, this world drives me mad with the dragon's anus. Anus after anus. That's the name of years. That's the plural. Anus or anise is the plural of the Latin word for year. You might also know that as, in some sense, what we're referring to, as far as anyone really cares that it has any relationship to them, of what we call all the years of our life. Sort of all the days of our life, anise. So, like Al, anise, more death. you know? Alanis, please bring a more death into my life. I like it so much. I send a puff of peace into the air, and a world of war is drenched in waters of the lands we breathe of everywhere. Ooh, ah, hey, hey, and you know what? I could do like a nice little rhyme scheme like that, and just that'd give me a reason to sing. Really sing. Mm. Okay. So basically that's like a break of me singing. So we just like boom. Let's see what kind of fuck. Give me the parameters which I bequeath. Where the fuck? I'm looking for brackets. Does anyone know the bracket? Oh, the squiggly brackets. And then that's dot dot dot. I love writing. Don't you love it when you're writing something and you like all you have to do is put brackets or ellipsis, whatever the hell it's called. Oh, now I've done some work. It's time for another sip of coffee. Yum. I send a puff of peace into the air, and a world of war is drenched in waters of the lands we breathe of everywhere. Ooh, ah, hee, hee, wow, wow, ooh, ah, hee, hee. Okay, you get the idea. I am Mr. Bear, and I am just coming out of my bear time. I send a puff of peace into the air, and a world of war is drenched in waters of the lands we breathe of everywhere. Mm. Yeah. Behold the beauty, behold the beauty of earth and sky. Behold the beauty of earth and sky, that were touched by heaven, that were touched by heaven, oh, that were touched by heaven. Behold the beauty of earth and sky, that were touched by heaven. Oh, just put another ampersand, you're good. Another ellipsis, throw that in there and keep going. We'll figure it out later as we move along in the journey of life. Hmm. Well, the thing is, I have this idea in my mind. It's like behold the beauty of earth and sky. Like I've actually got a logic, I guess, a kind of language, world system that's trying, when I write the song, I actually kind of have like a language in a way that it relates to some feelings and a kind of world system that I'm peering into a world system from which words can be drawn. So that's kind of like where I get my inspiration as a witch, peer into a world system from which words can be drawn. So I try to like peer into a system that allows me to draw some words, and the words I generally want or that I'm looking for are things that are very redeeming. Ultimately, like that's kind of what you want, right? When you go into magic, like that's what we're all looking for. It's like when you're looking for anything else, like you're not gonna see anything. They don't let anybody in there if you want anything other than, a little bit of peace in your heart or some nourishment or, a little bit of real redemption. Just by the world of magic. You just it's like it's not even your fault your heart is closed, But just think of like in any world, you'd have to open your heart to find some magic from time to time. So just because the world is like a really difficult place, you still have to use your heart to find some magic from time to time. And there's no reason that you can't. It's not, and not because the world is so hard, but even because it's so hard, it makes me want to. It makes it better in a way. It's like I really need it. I have to come up for air at some point. Behold the beauty of earth and sky. That so I have this world idea of this that we're touched by heaven. So I've got the image of the people that were on sending a puff of smoke. Behold the beauty of earth and sky that were touched by heaven. Heaven's every home. Like a stone that fell, that was so shy. Behold the beauty of earth and sky that were touched by heaven's every home, like a stone that fell and was so shy. Like okay, I don't know if people are gonna like this, but I'm gonna sing it and just see how it goes again. I'm see how long this is. It's not very long, but I feel like I'm kind of deep into it here, so I like to sing it all out. It's never gonna be perfect. I just want to give it a shot. I send a puff of peace into the air, and a world of war is drenched in waters of the lands we breathe of everywhere. Ooh, ah, oh, way. Behold the beauty of earth and sky that were touched by heaven's every home, like a stone that fell that was so shy, like a sound that turned our hearts to gold. Oh, 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 hey, oh, hey, oh. That's 1 minute. Okay, so that was cool. So that's 1 minute. Okay, so that's like a third of the song. It's not too bad. I send a so let's go. Just gotta keep going. Don't look back. Just keep going. Ah, go. And then we more some more. There's a war that gets into our blood. Mm. It soaks into our sacred lands. There's a war that gets into our blood that soaks. It's a war that gets into our blood. It soaks our lands in. It soaks our land in poison. There's a war that gets into our blood that soaks our lands in poison. There's a war that gets into our blood, that soaks our lands in poison. I think that's good. Instead of saying poison something, just poison. Don't even qualify. There's a war that gets into our blood, that soaks our lands in poison. Organs, organs, organs on thee. Oh, organs on, organs on, organs of a sacred song. Organs of the sacred song. Of a spirit that pours through every organs of a sacred son, of a spirit that pours, a spirit that pours, organs of a sacred son, of a spirit that pours. Our voices nigh. There's a war that gets into our blood, that soaks our lands in poison. Organs of a sacred son, of a spirit that pours our voices from. I'm going to say voices from. The rising of our strength and hope. And the songs we heard from years away on the paths of fell from heaven's own, fell from heaven's own. Dividing up the night and day. And stars that fell, and stones that sing, and hearts that tell their stories ring around the rockets from the moon, and back from the dead, and home by noon. I like it. I'm kind of getting into the little lyrical nature of the situation. Okay, let's try it again. I'm kind of hoping, like, after all that, I'm almost done because I'm not really like to do too much work. So it's like it's the end of my day. I'll be talking like this now and then when I'm tired and stoned. Actually, it's pretty okay because I think it at worst it sounds like I'm making fun of interesting man with an interesting name. What was his name? Oh God, I forgot his name for the longest time, and then I started seeing some more of his. Theo Vaughn. That's it, Theo Vaughn. Yeah. I'm not really a fan of his show. I'm not a fan. I just like, but I like the way he talks a little bit. It's like it's very disarming, and that's what I just the thing I like about it is the thing I dislike about it actually. So it's like yeah, I don't want to talk to him any more than I want to talk to Richard Dawkins, about the nature of the universe, because Richard Dawkins would be like, you presume to tell me the nature of the universe. Well, great, I'm all yes, but the moment you stop talking science and stop talking gibberish is the moment I'm going to get up, get myself a cup of miserable coffee, and try to see if this day can pay for itself. As I put on my clothes and put on my tie, and I was told that I was going to have a serious lecture as a serious person. Instead, I see this bumbling, inadequate, atavistic, incontinent, indolent, disoriented misanthrope who presumes to tell me the meaning of the universe. Now, Theo Vaughn, like, if I said, hey, let's talk about the meaning of the universe, he'd be like, now you mean to tell me that anyone can know about the universe? Like that's cool. Let me tell you, because I think everyone kind of knows something. And maybe Keanu Reeves like a little more, but everything really. I mean, like, can you account for all the different points of view and the Holocaust and Mary Poppins and everything in between? Can you? I mean, but also, like, you seem like a sweet guy, and I love it when people have interesting opinions about things that are probably hard to say because, like, we all think them, and then we think if we say something, someone's gonna like give you a black eye and not give you dinner and make you go to bed, and it's your wife. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that's okay. I'm done. I'm done with the impersonation. Okay. It's like, do I upload this video or not? It's like, here we go. I send a puff of peace into the air, and the world of war is drenched in waters of the lands we breathe of everywhere. Oh, behold the beauty of earth and sky. They were touched by heaven's every home like a stone that fell that was so shy, like a sound that turned our hearts to gold. There's a war that gets into our blood, that soaks our lands in poison, organs of a sacred son, of a spirit that pours our voices from the rising of our strength and hope. And the songs we heard from years away on the paths that fell from heaven's own, dividing up the night and day. Oh, and the stars that fell and stones that sing, and hearts that tell their stories around the rockets, round the moon, back from the dead and home by noon. I send a puff of peace into the air, and the world of war is drenched in waters of the lands we breathe on everywhere, and the boughs of trees and the stars that shine on a winter's eve, and the song that rises when we breathe. is how it's done. I'm just looking for 3 minutes. Oh, good. I'm sorry. This kind of feels like I'm just done. And then if the audience were a woman, I'm just gonna roll off and play World of Submarines and go to sleep. And that's probably what I'm going to do. But just to reward people for listening, you can, of course, go and listen to that song as it is properly uploaded. And as I go back into my Southern drawl, people may not believe me, but Southern drawl and black drawl and rap and hip hop and all that has its roots in the language trunk that I was born into as a British covert Jew, a little south of London, a little east of never you mind. Never tomorrow more. It's funny, in England, if you say where you're born with respect to London, it kind of puts you on a cross and crucifies you, depending on whether or not you're poor or richer than the person who knows or has a friend or whose dad grew up somewhere near some other town in England, in which case, whatever you consider a specialty food in your rather poor family were specialty foods, like in my father's family, were kind of things that took and borrowed from like the culinary world of the Gordon Ramsays of the early 20th century, or the Julia Childs, and all the people who could afford better meat and all this sort of stuff. And they turned it into something that sounded nicer, kind of like you know cheap apartment buildings that are like Bona Vista and Paradise Found and all these kinds of things, and they kind of have a sense of irony. And so the kind of foods my dad grew up with might have had fancy sounding names because they're really trying to make more of a meal out of not having, and different people from England would hear me describe the meals that I had and say, "Oh, that's not a real so and so," as though after like thousands of millions of human hours of existence and all that humans do and say and learn and know, they can't stop to think about why my ancestors were doing that, and find that perhaps more important than being kind of racist and bigoted, when it should be obvious to them, if they know anything about their history, of why these people are doing it. A lot of poor people do things and do different culinary things to make, and to say nothing of like completely roadblocking any chance they're going to actually get to know someone who's versed themselves in the history of their blood. And when you do that, especially from the British Isles and stuff, you're basically getting into druidry at some point. You're getting into things that have provided, via their heritage, like the spirit of the First Nations, a way to redeem yourself. A way to. They did that by doing what they did. They spoke to people who would need to do this. And it's like a truly oral tradition, like listening on the wind. Tell you the truth, whatever you need that might send you to God or a priest or a lawyer or a psychiatrist or all the above, if you're a white person, nature can hear you. Okay? Most of my life is not a song. You know, I've spent 52 years trying to find that I had emotions and what they were related to who I really was. Spent my time doing, that's what I spent my adolescence doing. It was nothing else. It was no other social learning. It was just to find what they were, why I was discovering them in that way, and what, if anything, I could do to put them to some use in my life and learn about them. It's taken me 52 years to find a song really like this song. It takes me, every time I find a song, it took me my lifetime to find that song, because it's a joy and an honor to be able to sit here and do that. So